you guys? It's Aunt B, and as promised, I am bringing you guys Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, a novelization by Todd Strasser, based on the screenplay by John Hughes. I hope everybody liked the first one, and I hope everyone likes this one just as much. Prologue. Kevin McAllister, that was the kid's name. There he was, smirking out the living room window and waving. He was actually waving. Harry Lime felt his blood boil. He squirmed in the back seat of the police car, pulling at his handcuffs. His partner, Marv Merchants, just stared dumbly out the window. As the car backed out of the McAllister driveway, both men lurched toward the front seat. "We got him, Chief," the policeman said into his radio. "Yep, the Wet Bandits. And you won't believe this, but it was a little kid who caught him." The two cops burst out laughing in the front seat. Marv laughed along with them. "Knock it off," Harry said to his partner through gritted teeth. Done in by a kid. Harry couldn't get over it. He and Marv had planned the perfect crime. They had cased the McAllister house. They knew the family was leaving on Christmas vacation. They knew how to beat the security system, and they'd had plenty of experience robbing other houses. How were they to know the McAllister kid would be left home by mistake? And how were they to know that little punk could booby-trap the whole house and keep them there long enough to call the cops? If it wasn't for Marv, they might have pulled it off. At least that's how Harry saw it. Marv was too easily fooled by the kid's tricks. Sometimes Marv's head was in the clouds. The Wet Bandits, that name was Marv's idea. Every famous team of crooks has to have a nickname, Marv had said. So every time they robbed a house, he left a faucet running. It was supposed to be like a calling card. Was that ridiculous or what? Well, it didn't matter, Harry thought. Soon he and Marv were going to be free. With a grunt, Harry managed to reach into his back pocket. He clasped his fingers around a tiny homemade lockpick. As soon as he pulled it out, Marv gave him a knowing smile. He twisted his right hand around, inserted the pick. He poked, turned, snap. Harry smiled. His hand was loose. The cops were chatting in the front seat, and they hadn't heard a thing. And the car was about to stop at a train crossing. Quickly, quietly, he unlocked his other hand. This escape was going to be a cinch. He and Marv were about to be free men, and their first stop would be the McAllister house. Kevin McAllister shuffled into the dark living room. He yawned and looked toward the front door. There were his toys, all lined up for attack. And there was the electric barbecue starter wrapped around the metal doorknob. The starter was cool now, but a few hours ago it was red hot. And when that crooked goon Harry touched the doorknob on the other side, boy did he get a shock. Well, it was all over now, except for the cleanup. With a sigh, Kevin scooped up the toys. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed the security chain was hanging loose. He reached toward it with his free hand. "Better safe than sorry," he muttered to himself. Wham! The door swung open with the force of a tornado. It crashed to the floor, its hinges ripping off the door jamb. And there, standing in the jagged door frame, were the two people Kevin hoped never to see again. "Merry Christmas, little fella," said Harry with a sickening smile. "Ho, ho, ho," said Marv. "Ah!" Screaming, Kevin spun around and ran to the back of the house. Harry and Marv clomped along behind him. "It's all over for you, pal," Harry called out. "You're all out of tricks," Marv added. But they were wrong. Dead wrong. Kevin didn't know what he was going to do, but he would do something. He barreled out the back door. The night air was a sudden shock to his skin. His feet slipped in the snow as he scrambled through the backyard and into the side door of the garage. Wheeling around, Kevin slammed the door shut and locked it, just as Marv banged into the door. For a brief moment, Kevin caught a glimpse at the bandit. Marv's tall, thin frame was hunched over the doorknob. As he rattled it, he gritted his teeth angrily. Kevin ran straight for a ladder in the back. He'd have some time before Marv broke in. Marv was a dork, he decided. On any other person, long sideburns and a goatee might look sinister and devilish. On Marv, they looked goofy. Harry was no genius either. He was short, balding, stubby, and mean. Harry considered himself the brains of the outfit. Maybe, just maybe, that was true. But that wasn't saying much. Oh well, Kevin thought. If I could beat them once, I can beat them again. He scrambled up the ladder. It led up to a small section of flooring supported by the garage's rafters. Two sides of the floor connected with the garage wall. From the other two sides, you could look out over the garage like a balcony. Crash! Came the sound of breaking glass. Kevin peeked over the edge of the floor. Marv's hand was reaching through the broken window on the side door, groping for the knob. Out of the corner of his eye, Kevin spotted Harry's fingers reaching through a hole in the front door of the garage. Time for some drastic action. Kevin crawled to the garage door opener, which hung just below one of the rafters. He flicked the switch, and the front door began to roll upward, with Harry on it. Whoa! Harry cried, his fingers caught in the hole. The door lifted him straight up into the garage. When it stopped, Kevin could see Harry lying flat on top of it. Fortunately, the flooring was out of Harry's reach. The open door had automatically turned on the garage light. Kevin looked around. There were all kinds of junk up there. An old lawnmower, some sections of a metal rain gutter, a set of dumbbells, a baseball pitching machine, lots of rope, some lawn furniture, and a dime store mannequin. Perfect. Quickly he dragged the mannequin to the edge of the floor so that its feet dangled over. He tied one end of the long rope to the mannequin's neck and the other end to the starter of the lawnmower. Below, he could hear Marv rummaging around in the garage. Wasting no time, Kevin tied another rope from the lawnmower to the release lever of the hitching machine. Then he pulled up an old lawn chair and sat down to watch the show. Marv's footsteps stopped. Kevin could see a hand closing around the mannequin's foot. "I got him!" Marv cried out. Marv yanked hard. With a jerk, the mannequin disappeared over the edge of the flooring. The rope pulled tight, drawing the starter cord right out of the lawnmower. Whirr, pock, pock, chugga, chugga. With a sputter and a wheeze, the mower roared to life. It began moving toward the edge of the floor, right above Marv's head. From his perch on the garage door, Harry looked up. Kevin smiled and waved at him. "Marv!" Harry shouted. "Heads up!" In a puff of blue smoke, the lawnmower fell off the flooring. Kevin shielded his eyes. There was a thud. Marv's scream echoed through the garage. The rope to the pitching machine snapped taut. It pulled on the handle, and a hard ball shot out directly at Harry. "Yow!" Harry cried. Kevin looked out over the garage. A cloud of exhaust fumes rose up from the floor. It circled around the garage door, where Harry was rubbing a huge bump on his forehead. When the smoke cleared below, there was Marv. His face was covered with nicks and cuts, and the top of his hair was shaved flat. Creak! The garage door began sagging under Harry's weight. Suddenly, with two loud bangs, the hinges snapped out of the wall. The door slammed shut. It tossed Harry backward. Flailing his arms, he landed in a heap on the McAllister's driveway. Kevin scrambled to the pile of junk and picked up a long section of the rain gutter. Would it be long enough to reach the open window in the front of the garage? The open window was just above where Harry was. At the edge of the flooring, he reached out with it and reached. Yes! The end of the gutter rested on the window ledge. Kevin balanced a 10-pound dumbbell on top of the gutter and let it roll downward, right toward the window. Outside the garage, Harry picked himself up. He rubbed his head. His bump was the size of a billiard ball. His back felt broken. And what was that rumbling noise? He looked up toward the noise. He saw the gutter pipe sticking through the window. The rumbling got louder. Something was coming down the pipe. When he saw the dumbbell, he froze. His brain told him to move, but his body wouldn't obey. All he could do was open his mouth and scream. Oh boy, some exciting things happening. Join me for the next chapter to find out what happens.